up, guys? It's your boy Ed from Savij. You already know. Today I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the Adamancipator Archtype. I think that a lot of people actually don't really understand this deck all that well, and I kind of want to sit down and explain this deck in deep understanding. We're going to go card by card, and we're going to talk about why we don't play certain cards and what we play certain cards and what are the ratios of the cards that we play. I think that some of the cards sound pretty good in theory, but once you really sit down and play them, they're kind of fucking ass. They're ass. Straight up, they're ass. So I want you guys to understand that, and I want to explain to you guys why I don't play certain cards. And that's just my personal opinion. But let's go ahead and get into it. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's go. Guys, before we continue with this video, make sure you guys go check out your Playmat. They have the most amazing, beautiful sleeves. They feel amazing. They're super cool, and they can actually customize sleeves however you guys want. If you guys want to put your team logo, if you guys want to put your own original design on them, whatever you guys want to put, you guys can definitely get that done. And if you guys want to get 10% off, you guys can use Elite 10 YP to get 10% off of any purchase around the whole store. I think that these sleeves are amazing. They're beautiful, and if you guys definitely want to get your some, make sure you guys do. Link will be down in the description. Guys, you already know. Let's go. Alright guys, so before we even get started, these are the only Adamancipator cards that I play in my deck. I've tested with so many others, and I've tested with many more of these cards. I personally don't believe that any of the other cards are even worth running in the deck. Of course, these are all ratios that are played at different. So these are threes. I play this at 2. Plays at 3, 1, and 1. We're gonna go ahead and talk about why I play certain cards at certain ratios and why I don't play the other cards. I don't even own the other cards, but I have their physical picture here on my iPad, so you can see why I don't play them, and we're gonna conversate about them. But let's go ahead and get started. Starting off, we're gonna talk about all the first tuners. So these monsters themselves, they all share the same effect to be able to special summon off of the top any level 4 or lower rock monster, as long as it's not themselves. So they can't special summon out tuners. So that means that I can't go Analyzer to Special Seeker or Analyzer to Special Researcher, correct? And vice versa with the rest of them. Their all first effect is very different. Their second effect, like I said, it's the same. But their first effect really relies on whatever you have on the board. So like Researcher is very like rock dependent, so as long as there is one rock on the field, you can special summon her. I've actually had a situation where one of my opponents destroyed one of my monsters on the board, so then they tried to see if Researcher still special summons. Yes, so the criteria to have a rock monster has already been fulfilled and met, so therefore Researcher does still special summon onto the board. I think that that's actually really interesting, because I think virtual worlds just are very different, but their wording is also very different, because they must be able to meet their second effect, which is what they have to either send to the graveyard or add to their hand, correct, depending on what their monster effect is. So Researcher, as long as you have a rock monster, you can activate and special summon her onto the board. Seeker, as long as you control an Emancipator monster, it doesn't even have to be just these, it could be one of the rocks too, or one of the synchros, then you can special summon him from your hand. And then this one, if your opponent controls monsters and you don't, you can activate its effect to special summon him to the board. This is actually one of the cards that helps me break boards the most. I'm a really big fan of this guy. I think this guy's super dope. So if my opponents control monsters and I don't, I can go effect, special summon. They're gonna allow it, because why would you ever negate the first effect? And then of course you would summon out something else, or you just activate their effect, and you haven't even normal summoned if you just activate this, right? So that means you still have the ability to go off. Being able to open up these two and another rock monster is super dope. You play a lot of monsters in this deck, so in situations like that, you would normally definitely open up more than what you need, right? We're gonna go ahead and move on. These are all the tuner monsters that you play. These are all the tuners that help you just excavate the deck. You would definitely play 3 of each. These are definitely really good monsters. You should never cut them. You should never play less. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to talk about some of the other rock monsters that we play. There are the crystals for the Adamancipators. We actually don't play this one at all. This one, if this card is special summoned by an Adamancipator effect card, right, you can then place one rock monster from your hand or your graveyard to the top of your deck. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one wind monster in your you control or in your graveyard and return it to the extra deck. And if you do, you place this card to the top of the deck. You can only use the effect of it once per turn. I don't think this card is good enough. And this card does the exact same thing, but you put an Adamancipator on top, and then you would do the fire Synchro Monster instead of the wind one, right? So you see, the thing is that these cards are not good enough because you really don't care about putting stuff back. The thing is that I believe that this deck straight up just OTKs. And if you're playing these cards, you're playing too slow. I don't want to play too slow, so for that reason, I want to play a lot faster. I just don't play these. These are too slow. Personally, I feel like they're just too slow. Now, this card does the second effect. It's the same. So if you have a water in your graveyard, you can definitely return it back to the extra deck and then put this to the top of your deck, which is fine. But this card helps you draw. So if you special summon this out of like an Adamancipator card, you can definitely special this, then draw a card. And this is great because if you go Adamancipator Signs, right? You special this, then with Signs, you stack your deck, and you can literally put like a Researcher on top of your deck or a Seeker. And it's like, okay, you stack your deck, you special this, then you go effect to draw, and you draw the Seeker or the Researcher. Like, what? That's actually retarded. This is really good. This is a card that I've been playing 2 of right now, and I've actually been considering to play 3 of it because it's just too good. The effect to draw is amazing, and it actually comes across a lot. And I'm not even gonna lie, 9 times out of 10 I draw something that I really needed. I've drawn IOs, I've drawn signs, and I've drawn all that really good stuff. So that will be it for the crystal monsters. Let's go ahead and continue with some of the spells. Now, for the first spell card that I would like to talk about, it's Adamancipator La Petite, which is the field spell. This card says, all rock monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. Once per turn during the main phase, you can take up to 5 Adamancipator cards from your deck and place them on top of your deck in any order. That sounds really good in theory, right? But in actual play, it's garbage. This whole week, I actually played with it, and if it didn't come up at all, which I was playing only 1 of, and terraforming, so that means I was actually playing 2 of this card, right? If it didn't come up at all, when it did come up, it was just not necessary because it's just like, what do I really stack, right? I would grab like 1 of each Adamancipator that I do play, which are these 4. And then after that, what really happens, right? After that, what really happens? Like, you're just going to stack them, you're going to special summon the Dragite, you're going to draw a card, and then you're going to call it a day. Like, oh... Like, you see, that's not good enough. I don't think it's good enough. That's just my personal opinion about it, right? Now the last card, the next Adamancipator card. This is Adamancipator Friends. Excavate the top cards of your deck equal to the number of rock monsters you control plus 5. And if you do, you can add to your hand 1 excavated rock monster with the level equal to or lower than the number of excavated cards. Also, place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. That sounds really busted, right? For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except for rock monsters. That's what kills this card. This card would be so good, so busted, if it didn't have anything to do with that last 2 lines. That just automatically kills the card. Honestly, 1000%, that automatically just kills this card, and it makes it super whack. For the 1 card that you do play, this is Adamancipator Signs. And Adamancipator Signs is a card that you play 3 of. This card says that target 1 rock monster in your graveyard, special summon it. That's the cost to target. Special summon it in defense position. Then, if this card is special summon an Adamancipator monster by this effect, you can take 1 level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. Rock monster from your deck and place it on top of your deck. The reason why I said this is so good is because you can activate this, you special summon this, you go special summon, then you stack your deck, and then you draw. That's why this card is so good. Or you can just special summon the level 6 Synchro Monster, stack your deck, put any of the Emancipators on top because the level 6 does allow you to special summon out the tuners, and then after you stack your deck, you effect of the monster, and then you special summon whatever monster you stacked, right? So it could be the Researcher, the Science, or the Analyzer. The Researcher, the Seeker, or the Analyzer. This is a really good card. This is straight up a Monster Reborn on wheels, and it's not a once per turn. I've opened up 2 of these, and I've made the nastiest board. Like, legit. We're going to go ahead and move on now. There's a couple of traps that I do want to talk about. You tribute any number of Adamancipator monsters, then target cards on the field equal to that, +1, destroy them. That's good card, but that's too slow. This is a deck that does not play any traps at all whatsoever. Well, in my deck, I play like an IO. But besides that, you don't really play this. Why would you want to play this? It's too slow. When a monster effect is activated while you control and Adamancipator Synchro, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So you are telling me that I am going to set up a bunch of monster negates, and the next thing that I'm going to set up, it's going to be another monster negate, but in counter form. Wow, that just seems super dumb. I'm not doing that. The deck legit puts up a lot of monster negates. What I want to do is to put up spell or trap negates. That's what I want. Why would I waste my time to set up another spell negate? I mean, another monster negate when I'm already ending like an Appaloosa for 3, or maybe like even a Guardian on the board. And if you have a Guardian, you must have a Rock in your hand. Like, dog, come on, man. It's just monster on monster negate, Savij, you know, all that good stuff, right? So I want as many more spells and trap negates than what I already have. So we're gonna go ahead and move on now. We're gonna go ahead and talk about some of the Synchro Monsters. So for the last Synchro Monster, Adamancipator, Risen, Leonite. So during the main phase, you can excavate the top 5 of your deck, and if you do, you can add 1 Adamancipator from card to your hand. Also place the rest of the bottom of the deck in any order. During your opponent's turn, if a fire monster is in your graveyard quick effect, you can target 1 rock monster in the graveyard, special summon it, and you can only use the effect of Risen once per turn. It's just actually not a bad card. The thing is that your extra deck is definitely too tight to be playing cards like this. I'm not going to summon out a 6 and leave a 6 on the board just so I can like Guardian on my opponent's turn. That just seems like a waste. If I'm going to have a 6, that means I had a 4 and a 2, or, you know, yeah, 4 and a 2. And then I would do something like Dagda or Verde. You see, like, the thing is that there are just better options. This is not a bad option because, yes, it does add you an Adamancipator from your deck to your hand. But there's just better options. This is not terrible, but there is better. Okay, that's it for all the cards that I had on my phone. Oh, look at the team right here. Oh, look at the team right there. That was the old picture of the old team. We're gonna have to have an updated picture coming up on my tablet. I only really use my tablet to edit. But for the last 2 monsters that we do play on the deck are these 2. These are the last 2 Synchro Monsters that we do play. These are really, really good. Really busted. We're going to go ahead and activate this one. This one looks at the top 5. You can special summon any level any rock monster, and then you can actually special tuner once. Also, it has another effect where it's like a DD Crow if you have a wind in your graveyard. So this is really good. So if you have like Appaloosa in your graveyard already, you can just like DD Crow whatever they have, and it hits any one card. It doesn't hit a monster, it doesn't hit a spell or trap, it hits any card. So it can be any of the 3. This one is probably the most busted, and it's actually the only one played in other archetypes. So this one was also played in like Sword Soul. But this one's really good because it reads that you can reveal the top 5, and if you reveal the top 5, however many rock monsters you revealed, you get to bounce cards on the board back to the hand. That is ridiculous, because if you're playing against cards or monsters or a person that like, if you're legit playing against somebody who just has a bunch of like monsters on board and they've already used their negates, and this is like your last thing, you just bounce everything back to the hand and you just swing over, and it's okay, that's already a 3k, but you cleared their board and and you're done, and you don't got to deal with it anymore. And then, okay, yeah, maybe they'll have some follow-up, but this also negates a spell or trap. So as long as you have a water in your graveyard, if your opponent activates their spell or trap to the board, to the field, whatever, if they activate a spell or trap effect, you can just negate it. That's really good. That's really busted. Guys, this was an in-depth kind of like theory of the deck, like what you should play and what you shouldn't play, and why I play certain ratios of what. It's just, these are one-offs. 3, 3, 3, 2 I play, maybe 3, and then 3. The draw one is just so good, because the thing is that I feel like Adamancipators just have a really big issue with not being able to draw or not being able to have enough cards in their hand, because it's such a combo heavy deck that at the end of the day you just draw so much and then you just go through a lot of stuff. Other cards that you definitely should play in the deck. I'm not really gonna like give you guys a combo list right now because I have one coming up soon, but Small World, it's a really good card you could play. Doki Doki is a good rock monster you play. I play Roxy's, I play Supplier, I play Guardian. These are all really good cards, really rock, quote unquote, rock monsters you can play in the deck, because that's not a rock monster. So you have, these are 4 rock monsters that you definitely play for sure, and then you have 2 other cards that help you extend to what you need to do, maybe start you off somewhere. You legit can reveal anything and add anything. I saw Farfel was talking about like necessarily like Nibiru, right? Because Nibiru is not like a combo starter and you don't really need it. But I've had situations where I've activated this, I revealed this from the deck or something. Like I don't normally do that, but like let's say that, got both of these, and then you add a tuner from your deck to your hand because they're all rocks, and you add rock. It's legit what it is. It's a lot of fun. This deck is super fun. I think it's very like, you roll a die, honestly, because if you reveal and you don't reveal any rock monsters, you kind of whiff, you kind of pass, and then you're kind of done, and that kind of really sucks. But that's just me, guys. Let me know what you all think about the deck. I will have a deck profile coming up soon, so make sure you guys stick around for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's an updated list. I've played this deck on tournament 5 to 6 times already, and I've top 4 times. I've got second, third, fourth. So it's not too bad. At least I top 4. Let me know, guys. Let me know what you all think. This is one of my favorite decks, and I'm probably gonna be playing this deck at locals a lot. So see you guys on the next video.